See, the good thing about having such a small YouTube channel is you could talk about a movie like a month after it comes out and it doesn't make a difference. Now's my chance to say something super controversial. Not gonna, but I could. Hello and welcome again to my bedroom. It's a small apartment, not many places to do this. I saw M. Night Shyamalan give a talk one time and he basically credited himself to starting the superhero genre thing. Isn't that awesome? Oh, to be within the walls of that mind. You know it's gonna be a wild time when the trailer for the movie has a plot twist. I saw that in theaters and actively chuckled out loud. It's always the same two movies, right? Every Shyamalan movie is Sixth Sense and like Split now. But it used to be Sixth Sense, Unbreakable. You know it's not gonna be from the creative mind that brought you Lady in the Water and A Knock at the Cabin. So I remember seeing A Knock at the Cabin, like, whenever that came out, and just being blown away by, like, the sheer Shyamalan-ness of it. I feel like he's really in this new phase of not giving a fuck of what people actually act like anymore with these new movies. And I've been really enjoying them in the way that one can enjoy a Shyamalan movie, which is not 100% on an ironic-free level. But they've been really fun. I liked when the old lady asked the kid to get in the oven. I liked when the people got old on the beach. It's so quintessentially Shyamalan. The balls, the stones, to name a character mid-sized sedan and just never address it and to not... Just fuck you. Like, you need to accept that. That's fantastic. And nobody else can get away with that but Shyamalan. I've never seen a person ride the laurels of basically 1.5 movies for his entire career. I have just a special place in my heart for Shyamalan and all his works. So what is the newest entry into the Shyamalan pantheon like? Trap is a movie where both Josh Hartnett and I struggle not to burst out laughing in every scene. It takes place on a planet where people insist that they're human, look human, but don't sound human, and don't act human, and don't do things that rational human beings would do in any given scenario. So the first part of this video is going to be spoiler free, and then I'll get into spoilers later. You know the drill. Characters will, in the most tense and dramatic of moments, take time to just do random shit, like removing their shirt, eating a pie, arguing with a local wine mom, and tending to a bicycle that's overturned. They also, at times, seem to sort of have a psychic link with each other because characters will just bump into random characters they've never met before that just so happen to be able to advance the plot forward for them. So that's pretty cool. So Josh Hartnett plays a dad named Cooper, which can we talk about that for a second? Have you ever met a Cooper in your life? I feel like it's just default movie white guy character name, but to me sounds like the name of a dog. In a way, a guy struggling and doing his best to try to act like a normal human being is kind of the perfect formula for an M. Night Shyamalan character. There are moments where you don't know if the script being awkward and kind of just weird is a choice or is just unintentional, you know? Which is kind of brilliant because it's this guy pouring all his charisma into this performance where he's supposed to be a little bit subhuman, which if you've seen a Shyamalan movie before is kind of just every character anyway. But there are still scenes, unfortunately, where the writing fails him completely and Joshy Boy is doing his best. He gives sort of a performance where he leans into the campiness of the idea and it ends up being really fun to watch, even if he is interacting with Elden Ring NPCs and characters from the game Heavy Rain. There were a few moments in this movie where it was giving me press X to Jason vibes. Josh's performance kind of carries a lot of this movie, but there are still moments where it just completely falls apart. Logic goes out the window, characters say shit that just like makes no sense. There's a part where a woman goes, "Oh yeah, our security is super tight. Well, except for this one thing," and it's like, why would you say that? Just to a complete stranger who fits the description of the murderer that they're looking for. Which is just awesome to watch. People in my theater were laughing throughout the movie. And in a thriller, horror type thing, that's either gonna ruin the experience for you or crank it up to 11, and for me, that made the experience. But yeah, performance-wise, a lot of people act kind of stilted and very weird. The daughter does a great job, I will say, but every other character sort of surrounding the circumstances of this dad trying to get out of this concert is very entertaining. There's a mother character that acts particularly unforgivably. She shows up to just kind of stir the pot a bit and just kind of leaves the story. So I'm not sure why she was there other than to make me laugh in particular. I'm usually fine with a nice simple premise. In fact, I often prefer that. And there are definitely ways where a movie can sell you on a premise like this. But this movie just isn't interested in that at all. They're just kind of throwing things at you that you just need to buy. Now, Shyamalan is not interested in any of that boring nonsense. Instead, he's too busy showing you his daughter's bustling music career. Shyamalan took the wrong lesson after working on After Earth with Will Smith. Instead, he should have been throwing some hands when people start talking shit. During the marketing of this movie, Shyamalan is going around saying that this is the shortest amount of time that he's ever worked on a script. And like, yeah, I'm sure it was. Why is the leader of the FBI an evil British cartoon character? I don't know. I'm not sure if the movie knows. But more importantly, I think her plan just sucks. I think the premise of the movie is a fun idea for a thriller, but they just don't do a good job of selling you that this would be a thing that's actually useful in catching a serial killer. You know, they say, oh, great. Now we've only whittled it down to 30,000 people in this area or some shit like that. Or we take 30,000 people and we whittle it down to 5,000 possible suspects with the most generic description of a human being I've ever heard. I mean, it makes no sense, and the movie's not interested in trying to explain any of it to you, which, if you've seen any of Shyamalan's previous works, is a common thread. I will say there is a bit, without getting into spoilers, toward the end, where the POV kind of shifts. And I thought, actually, that made for a strangely tense and very well-acted, sort of like short film, almost, in the middle of this bigger movie. And I really enjoyed that section. So that was just kind of a weird little surprise, like an hour and a half into this movie. And then getting into spoilers a little bit, yes, the day is saved with the power of social media. A benevolent force only used for good. Awesome. Remember, everybody, rich and famous people can always do stuff like this, use their influence to solve ongoing crimes. They just wake up every morning and decide not to. The resolution also comes from this lovely place where, what is it? Josh Hartnett has a bag, and we never establish what's in the bag, but it's also not set up as anything. And then when he stops attempting to murder his wife to eat a slice of pie, she puts drugs in the pie to, like, get him. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we're ever told that the drugs are there. I mean, maybe in like a passing line of dialogue, but not big enough to be like the resolution thing, the thing that stops him in the end. If you're looking for a "Are you the Avatar Ong" type like moment, it probably comes from that little stretch when they're talking and he's eating the pie. If there's a stretch of this movie that is just Shyamalan to its core, it's gotta be when this man pauses his murder attempt on his wife to eat some dessert. Look, making movies is super hard, damn near impossible, and the fact that M. Night Shyamalan has been making original ideas and putting original IP into the world, I think is a great thing. He's telling original stories with his own style, collection of flaws that somehow pass for a style, whatever you want to call it, and I think that that is a positive thing. I don't know who signs the checks on these things. I don't know who is the person who allowing M. Night Shyamalan to keep doing these things, but I want to shake their hand because goddamn, will they entertain and continue to entertain. Every time there's a Shyamalan movie, you know what you're getting into at this point. If you think you're going to get another Sixth Sense, I think that time is come and gone. But I don't know. There's some fascinating kind of otherworldly quality to them that I'm always drawn to. Yeah. So those are my thoughts. Thanks for watching, and get out of here.